Have you ever found yourself adrift in a sea of overwhelming emotions, struggling to stay afloat amidst the turbulent waves of negative thoughts? In the chaos of modern life, where pressures seem to multiply with each passing day, it can feel as if we are battling against a relentless storm. Yet, what if I told you that the ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers a lifeline, a means to navigate these emotional tempests? As the Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, you have power over your mind, not over outside events. This profound insight is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, reminding us that while we cannot control the external world, we can master our responses to it. Journey with us today as we explore 7 transformative lessons from Stoicism, each designed to help you regain control over your emotions and find peace amidst life's chaos. Imagine standing firm against the storm, your heart full of courage and your mind anchored in clarity. These lessons are not merely theoretical concepts. They are actionable principles that can redefine how you approach adversity and emotional struggles. In a world where we are bombarded by information and external pressures, whether it's the demands of a high-stakes job in New York City, the relentless pace of life in Los Angeles, or the social media comparisons that plague our self-esteem, it is easy to feel overwhelmed. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to choose our responses. By applying these lessons, we can learn not just to survive, but to thrive, finding joy and fulfillment even in challenging circumstances. Let's begin our exploration with the first lesson: know what you can control. This foundational Stoic principle reminds us that our energy is best spent on what we can influence rather than fretting over what lies beyond our grasp. Reflect on a time when you faced an unexpected setback. Perhaps you planned an outdoor gathering only to have it thwarted by a sudden downpour. While you cannot change the weather, you have the power to adjust your plans. You might choose to move the event indoors or even embrace the rain as an opportunity for a different kind of enjoyment. Epictetus, another profound Stoic thinker, articulated this wisdom succinctly: some things are in our control and others not. Embracing this dichotomy allows us to free ourselves from needless suffering. When we focus on what we can change, our actions, our thoughts, our attitudes, we empower ourselves to navigate life's storms with grace and resilience. Today, as we embark on this journey through Stoicism, remember that these lessons are not just insights, they are invitations to change the way you interact with the world and yourself. By the end of our exploration, you will have practical tools at your disposal to help you cultivate emotional stability and a deeper sense of peace. So, are you ready to take the first step towards mastering your mind and emotions? Let's delve deeper into the lessons that can guide us through life's inevitable challenges. 1. The dichotomy of control. In our journey through life, we often encounter unexpected storms that can throw us off balance. Whether it's a sudden job loss, a relationship breakdown, or even daily frustrations like traffic jams or long lines at the grocery store, these challenges can evoke strong emotional responses. However, the first lesson from Stoicism teaches us a crucial concept: the dichotomy of control. This principle, articulated by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, states, some things are in our control and others are not. Understanding and applying this principle can profoundly change how we approach adversity and stress. To illustrate the power of this lesson, let's consider a relatable scenario. Imagine you are preparing for a critical presentation at work. You've spent countless hours crafting your slides, rehearsing your speech, and anticipating questions. However, on the day of the presentation, a severe thunderstorm causes a power outage, leaving you unable to present. In this moment, you face a choice. You can either become frustrated and anxious over the circumstances beyond your control, or you can shift your focus to what you can control: your preparation for the next opportunity, your attitude towards the situation, and how you communicate with your team about the setback. This example highlights a fundamental truth. While we cannot control external events, we can control our thoughts, reactions, and the effort we put into future endeavors. When we focus our energy on what is within our control, we empower ourselves to respond with resilience rather than helplessness. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This insight encapsulates the essence of the dichotomy of control, encouraging us to take ownership of our mental and emotional states. Consider another common experience: receiving critical feedback from a colleague or supervisor. Your initial reaction might be defensiveness or anger, fueled by the fear of inadequacy. However, by applying the dichotomy of control, you can step back and assess the situation. Ask yourself, what can I control in this moment? You might realize that while you cannot change the feedback itself, you can control how you respond to it. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can choose to reflect on the feedback, extract constructive elements, and use it as an opportunity for growth. By focusing on your response, you reclaim your power and transform a potentially negative experience into a valuable lesson. This principle also extends to the way we perceive our relationships. For instance, when a friend cancels plans at the last minute, it's easy to feel hurt or rejected. However, rather than spiraling into negative thoughts about your worthiness or the friendship, you can apply the dichotomy of control by recognizing what you can influence. You can control your feelings by choosing to communicate openly with your friend, expressing your disappointment, and perhaps even suggesting another time to meet. This proactive approach empowers you to maintain your emotional equilibrium while fostering healthier relationships. Moreover, the dichotomy of control invites us to reassess our priorities and where we invest our energy. In a world filled with uncertainties, be it global events, economic fluctuations, or personal challenges, focusing on what we cannot control often leads to anxiety and frustration. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to channel our efforts into aspects of life that we can influence, such as our daily habits, our reactions to others, and our personal growth. In practical terms, how can we begin to implement this lesson in our everyday lives? One powerful technique is to create a simple list. Divide a piece of paper into two columns, one for things within your control and another for things beyond your control. As you go through your day, take note of situations that provoke strong emotional responses. For each situation, categorize it accordingly. This exercise not only clarifies your thoughts, but also serves as a reminder to redirect your focus toward what you can change. Additionally, incorporating mindfulness practices can enhance your ability to apply the dichotomy of control. Mindfulness encourages us to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing us to create space between stimulus and response. Through techniques like deep breathing or meditation, we can develop a greater awareness of our emotional triggers and learn to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For instance, when faced with a stressful situation, take a moment to breathe deeply and ask yourself, what can I control right now? This pause can be transformative, helping you to regain composure and clarity. Another valuable approach is to practice negative visualization, a technique endorsed by many Stoics. This practice involves contemplating the loss of something you value, such as a job, a relationship, or even your health. This isn't meant to invite despair, but rather to cultivate appreciation for what you currently have and to prepare you for potential losses. By visualizing the impermanence of these aspects of life, you can approach them with a sense of gratitude and acceptance. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This quote encapsulates the idea that much of our suffering comes from worrying about what might happen rather than focusing on what is. Let's take an example of this practice in action. Suppose you have a close friendship that you cherish. Instead of taking this relationship for granted, engage in negative visualization by imagining your life without that friend. Consider how their absence would affect your daily routine, your emotional support system, and your happiness. This exercise can deepen your appreciation for the friendship you have, prompting you to invest more time and energy into nurturing it. Instead of taking your friend for granted, you might express your gratitude more often, strengthening the bond you share. As we navigate life's inevitable challenges, remembering the words of Epictetus can be a guiding light. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By internalizing the dichotomy of control, we cultivate resilience and emotional strength, equipping ourselves to handle anything that life throws our way. This mindset not only empowers us to face adversity, but also fosters a sense of inner peace as we learn to let go of the need to control what is beyond our grasp. In conclusion, the dichotomy of control is not just a Stoic principle, it is a practical framework for navigating the complexities of modern life. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, we can transform our relationship with adversity and cultivate a sense of peace. The storms of life will continue to come, but with the wisdom of Stoicism, we can learn to sail through them with confidence and grace. Embrace this lesson and you will find yourself empowered to navigate life's challenges, emerging stronger and more resilient. 2. The art of reflection. In our fast-paced modern world, where decisions often need to be made in an instant, the art of reflection has become a rare and invaluable skill. We live in an era where immediacy is prized, and the pressure to react swiftly can lead to impulsive decisions that we may later regret. However, the second lesson from Stoicism teaches us the profound benefits of pausing to think before we act. This practice can be likened to a compass that guides us through the murky waters of our emotions, allowing us to navigate life's complexities with clarity and composure. Consider a common scenario. You receive a critical email from your supervisor questioning your recent project. Your immediate instinct might be to respond defensively, fueled by feelings of hurt and anxiety. However, if you take a moment to pause and reflect, you can create space between the stimulus of the email and your reaction. This pause allows you to ask yourself important questions. What is my initial emotional response telling me? Is there a constructive way to address this feedback? By asking these questions, you engage in a reflective process that can transform a potential conflict into an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "You have to keep yourself simple, pure, serious, unpretentious, a friend of justice, a lover of your fellow men, and strong for your proper work." This quote encapsulates the essence of reflection. It encourages us to maintain our integrity and authenticity, especially in challenging situations. When we reflect before we act, we align our responses with our core values, ensuring that we respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. One effective strategy for cultivating the art of reflection is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness encourages us to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment, fostering a greater awareness of our emotional landscape. Engaging in mindfulness techniques, such as meditation or deep breathing, can help ground us in the present moment, allowing us to respond to situations with clarity instead of being swept away by emotional currents. For example, when faced with a stressful situation at work, take a few deep breaths before responding. This simple act can significantly alter your emotional state, enabling you to approach the situation with a calm and rational mindset. Another powerful technique is to employ the 10-minute rule. When you feel a strong emotional reaction, be it anger, frustration, or anxiety, commit to waiting for 10 minutes before responding. During this time, engage in a brief reflection. Ask yourself, what is the worst outcome of this situation? What could I learn from it? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? This practice not only helps you avoid hasty decisions, but also allows you to approach each situation with a sense of purpose and intention. Let's take a practical example to illustrate this point. Imagine you are in a heated discussion with a friend about a sensitive topic, and the conversation is becoming increasingly tense. Rather than allowing your emotions to dictate your response, you might say, "I need a moment to collect my thoughts." This pause not only gives you the time to reflect on your feelings, but also demonstrates to your friend that you value the conversation enough to approach it thoughtfully. When you return to the discussion, you can express your perspective with greater clarity and empathy, fostering a more constructive dialogue. Reflection also offers us the opportunity to build empathy and understanding in our interactions with others. When we take the time to consider the emotions and perspectives of those around us, we can respond with compassion rather than defensiveness. For instance, if a colleague sends you an email that feels rude or dismissive, instead of reacting immediately, you can reflect on their possible motivations. Perhaps they are under stress or facing challenges of their own. By acknowledging this, you can approach the situation with empathy, leading to a more productive conversation. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, emphasized the value of reflection when he stated, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This insight is particularly relevant in our digital age, where misunderstandings can escalate quickly through text-based communication. By reflecting on the intent behind a message rather than jumping to conclusions, we can prevent unnecessary conflicts and foster healthier relationships. Incorporating reflection into your daily routine can also take the form of journaling. Keeping a Stoic journal allows you to articulate your thoughts and feelings, providing a space for self-examination and growth. Each evening, take a few moments to write about the events of your day, focusing on how you reacted to various situations. Ask yourself, did I respond in a way that aligns with my values? What could I have done differently? This practice not only promotes accountability, but also helps you identify patterns in your behavior, enabling you to make conscious changes in the future. Moreover, reflection can serve as a powerful tool for decision-making. When faced with a significant choice, such as changing careers or moving to a new city, take the time to reflect on your core values and long-term goals. Ask yourself, will this decision lead me closer to the life I want to live? How does this align with my values? By grounding your choices in reflection, you can make decisions that resonate with your authentic self rather than being swayed by external pressures or fleeting emotions. As we embrace the art of reflection, we become more adept at navigating life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Instead of being reactive, we cultivate a proactive mindset that empowers us to make thoughtful decisions. The act of reflection not only enhances our emotional intelligence, but also strengthens our relationships and personal growth. In conclusion, the art of reflection is an essential practice that allows us to respond to life's challenges with clarity and purpose. By taking the time to pause, consider our emotions, and align our actions with our values, we become better equipped to navigate the complexities of modern life. Embracing the Stoic principle enables us to cultivate deeper connections with ourselves and others, fostering a sense of inner peace amidst the chaos of the world. As you incorporate reflection into your daily life, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius: the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Through reflection, we can elevate our thoughts and, in turn, enhance our overall well-being. 3. Practicing dispassion. In a world filled with emotional turbulence, the Stoic practice of dispassion can serve as a guiding light, helping us navigate our feelings and reactions with greater stability and clarity. Dispassion does not imply apathy or a lack of emotion. Rather, it encourages us to maintain a balanced perspective amidst the chaos of life. This third lesson from Stoicism teaches us to recognize our emotions without being controlled by them, allowing us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Imagine a typical day in an urban setting where the pace is swift and the pressures are high. You are commuting to work and someone cuts you off in traffic. Instantly, a surge of anger rises within you. However, by practicing dispassion, you can pause and acknowledge that anger without letting it dictate your behavior. Instead of honking your horn or yelling, you can take a deep breath and remind yourself that the other driver may be having a rough day just like you. This simple shift in perspective can transform a potentially volatile situation into an opportunity for calm reflection. Marcus Aurelius pointedly stated, "You are not entitled to the behavior you expect from others. Your freedom is to choose how you react." This powerful reminder encapsulates the essence of dispassion. It is about taking ownership of our emotional responses and recognizing that our reactions are within our control. When we practice dispassion, we cultivate emotional resilience, allowing us to face life's challenges with grace and equanimity. One of the most effective ways to cultivate dispassion is through mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness encourages us to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment, creating a space between our emotions and our reactions. For instance, when you feel a wave of frustration wash over you, perhaps due to a missed deadline at work, mindfulness can help you acknowledge that frustration without becoming overwhelmed by it. You might sit quietly, close your eyes, and focus on your breath, allowing the intensity of the emotion to dissipate. This practice not only helps you manage immediate emotional responses, but also fosters a greater sense of self-awareness over time. Another practical strategy for practicing dispassion is to reframe your perspective on challenging situations. When faced with adversity, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I grow from this experience? This reframing enables you to view obstacles as opportunities rather than threats. For example, if you face criticism from a supervisor, instead of reacting defensively, consider the feedback as a chance to improve your skills. Reflecting on this situation from a place of curiosity rather than defensiveness can lead to personal growth and greater emotional stability. Consider the teachings of Epictetus, who emphasized the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote serves as a cornerstone of dispassion, reminding us that our power lies in our responses. When we practice dispassion, we can step back from our immediate emotional reactions and choose how we wish to engage with the world around us. An example of this principle in action can be seen in a workplace scenario. Suppose you are involved in a heated discussion during a team meeting and a colleague makes a dismissive comment about your ideas. Your initial instinct might be to retaliate with a sharp response, fueled by hurt and anger. However, by practicing dispassion, you can take a moment to breathe and assess the situation. Instead of reacting impulsively, you might say, "I appreciate your perspective. Let's explore this further." This response not only diffuses tension, but also promotes a collaborative atmosphere, allowing for constructive dialogue. Dispassion also plays a vital role in our relationships. When conflicts arise, it is easy to become emotionally charged and defensive. However, by practicing dispassion, we can approach disagreements with empathy and understanding. For instance, if a friend expresses disappointment in you, instead of becoming defensive, take a moment to listen and reflect on their feelings. Ask yourself, what led to this reaction? How can I support my friend? This approach fosters deeper connections and builds trust, allowing both parties to express their feelings without escalating the conflict. Additionally, embracing the concept of impermanence can enhance our practice of dispassion. Life is full of changes, and recognizing that circumstances will shift can help us maintain perspective. When we face difficulties or setbacks, reminding ourselves that this too shall pass can provide comfort and clarity. This Stoic understanding encourages us to hold our emotions lightly, knowing that they are transient and do not define our overall experience. Another practical exercise for cultivating dispassion is the practice of journaling. Keeping a Stoic journal allows you to reflect on your emotions, responses, and experiences. After a challenging day, take a few moments to write about the events that triggered strong feelings. Reflect on how you reacted and whether those reactions aligned with your values. This self-examination promotes accountability and helps you identify patterns in your emotional responses, empowering you to respond with greater dispassion in the future. As we cultivate the practice of dispassion, we also learn to embrace a more balanced perspective. Life is filled with ups and downs, and by maintaining emotional stability, we can navigate these fluctuations with grace. Remember the words of Seneca, who wisely advised, "A good character, when it is set on fire by the passions, should not go to extremes." This sentiment reminds us that while emotions are a natural part of being human, we have the capacity to temper them with reason and reflection. In conclusion, practicing dispassion is essential for navigating the emotional complexities of modern life. By cultivating the ability to recognize our emotions without being controlled by them, we empower ourselves to respond thoughtfully and intentionally. Through mindfulness, reframing, and self-reflection, we can foster emotional resilience and navigate life's challenges with grace. Embracing dispassion allows us to cultivate deeper connections with ourselves and others, ultimately leading to a more peaceful and fulfilling existence. As we move forward, let us remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Our freedom lies in our ability to choose how we respond to the world around us. 4. Embracing change. Change is an inevitable part of life, a constant that we cannot escape. From the seasons shifting outside our windows to the personal transformations we experience as we grow older, change is woven into the very fabric of our existence. Despite its inevitability, many of us resist change, clinging to the familiar and the comfortable. However, the fourth lesson from Stoicism teaches us the importance of embracing change as a necessary and enriching aspect of life. By learning to accept and adapt to change, we can cultivate resilience and find deeper meaning in our experiences. Consider a scenario that many can relate to. You have been working at the same job for several years, and it has become a significant part of your identity. You are comfortable in your role, have established relationships with colleagues, and feel a sense of security. However, one day the company announces a merger and your position may be affected. Faced with uncertainty, it is natural to feel anxious and resistant to the change. Yet, within the Stoic framework, this is an opportunity to reassess your perspective on change itself. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "The only constant in life is change." This quote serves as a reminder that resisting change often leads to unnecessary suffering. Instead of viewing the merger as a threat, you can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth and new experiences. Perhaps this change will allow you to learn new skills, meet new people, and ultimately advance your career in ways you had not anticipated. By reframing your perception of change, you can transform fear into curiosity and anxiety into excitement. Embracing change also requires us to cultivate a sense of gratitude for the present moment. The Stoics believed that acceptance of impermanence can lead to a deeper appreciation for life itself. When we acknowledge that everything, both good and bad, is transient, we become more mindful of our experiences.